Hello everyone. How's it going? Hope everything's alright. So today I'm gonna talk about Phantom Knights. This deck got buffed. I mean, not the deck is the same. I mean, the skill got buffed. And so it's not actually a buff. It's the skill got reverted back to its original form. Now you can return any Phantom Knight card. It doesn't need to be a monster. You can return even the spell or the trap. The Phantom Ring, yeah, any Phantom Knight card to start out your combo. So, I mean, why? I mean, I had to do this video because, I have some memories with this deck, nostalgic memories, I would say, because this deck got released when Master Duel got released, and it was a time, it was a phase in Duel Links where everyone started abandoning Duel Links for Master Duel, the shiny new toy, right? And everyone just stopped playing Duel Links, and player count went really down, and people were predicting that Duel Links is gonna die, and it was a dark time for Duel Links, right? And that's where the Phantom Knights came. So it's like kind of like, I guess, because I remember people telling me go back to play Master Duel. Master Duel is better. Master Duel is, and while I kind of agree. I like Duel Links more. Anyway, so talking back to this deck. Now, so let's talk about if I recommend this deck or not, if it's good or not. Let's talk about how good this deck is. In my very, very, very humble opinion, it's kind of a glorified Gokis. This deck summons a negate, sets whatever back row you can draw into, and passes, right? That's what this deck does. It's kind of what Gokis as well does, right? They also summon their negate, set whatever back row they draw into, and pass, right? That's the same thing, right? So it plays like Gokis, and it feels like Gokis, kind of. The only difference, this is Xyz and the other one is Link. Right? It's a Link deck, this one is an Xyz deck. So it's like, if you expect it to be on the tier list or something, or to be, I know on Duel Link, like on DLM at the moment, you'll see a lot of decks, a lot of Phantom Knight decks doing well in the last couple of tournaments. I think you'll see some Phantom Knight decks. I know there is a hype around this deck. This deck is a fan favorite. A lot of people love Phantom Knights. They look cool, bro. Look at that. They look fantastic. They play fantastic. It's just a solid deck. All-round solid deck. So there is like a huge hype around this deck, right? And the skill got reverted back to its original form, and everyone's playing the deck. But in my very humble opinion, once you see, once people start playing other decks, they'll see that Phantom Knights is not as good as they thought it would be. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say this deck is bad. It's not bad. It's absolutely not bad. But it feels like Gokis, and if Gokis is not on the tier list, then why should this one be on the tier list? I don't know. It's just, I don't want to do this comparison, and then people tell me, you're wrong. Gokis are actually worse than Phantom Knights is much better. Okay, I can't listen. I know. But this is just my opinion. So you want to invest in this deck? Yeah, I mean, it comes from a mini box. Those cards, they come from mini boxes. This is free to play. This is free to play. This is free to play. This is from a bundle. So most of it come from mini boxes. This your boss monster comes from a main box, right? Some of the cards here as well come from a main box. It's come also from the same box as those, right? Yeah, right? No, let me check. Sorry, guys. Unprofessional, but I'm just trying to help people out. So yeah, this also comes from a mini box. That's interesting. So I mean, from a select structure deck. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, if you want to get this deck, it's from a mini box. You can collect this easily, right? You can build this easily. And if you have the staples, nice. Now, at the start of my replays, I did play it in a way that basically took out all the lances, right? And I went hard on back row, you know. I went really hard on back row. I played it like this. Just want to build it in front of you guys, right? I played it like this, and I was like, let's just go hard on back row, right? I didn't like it. I hated it. I changed the build after like 5 games. I just didn't like it. This deck felt like it needed lands, right? And so I got, you know what? I can just exit without saving. So this deck needed, I felt like this deck needed the lances, so I played the lances, and I liked it that way. So it's a good deck. It definitely going first, fantastic, of course. You summon the negate, you set whatever back row, you pass. Going second, this is where the lands come in handy. So, this deck is good when you open the right text. You go second, you gotta open the lances. You go first, you gotta open, like, because I'm telling you, let me tell you something. If you summon Requiem and sit on it, let me tell you, in this meta, 1 negate is not enough. Unless you're playing against the garbage deck. But if you're playing against top tier decks, 1 negate and pass is not enough. Not enough. So you have to couple this Requiem with back row. You know, like 1 back row, 2 back rows, if that's even possible, if you open 2 back row. Other than that, 1 negate is not enough. So it's like, that's why I tried the all back row version, but I didn't like it. Lance is good. So, that's the thing. Now, when it comes to meta decks, right, you don't need to open the right text in order to play. The deck is good the way it is. Tenyi, look at it. It's very nice. BLS. Look at it, it's also very nice. You don't need to open specific cards to play the game, right? With Phantom Knights, it feels like I gotta open the lance, or else the opponent is just gonna book my monster, gonna compulse my I'm dead, right? It feels like you need. And let's say he summoned something like a boss monster, crazy monster that you wanna negate, or you wanna just book in order to play the game. He summoned the Dingir, so DDD players, they summon Dingir, so on pass. You want to book it and then destroy it with Breaksword. You know what I'm saying? So it feels like you need to open the right cards, the right text, I mean. But regarding the consistency, very consistent, of course. Like, don't need to talk about the consistency. The skill is a consistency skill. You don't need any, you have no problems with consistency here, right? If people break with it, I mean, you're kind of unfortunate, but usually you don't break with this deck. Usually. Fragile Armor is fantastic. You're going to see in the first replay why is it fantastic. I'm going to tell you right now. It draws you in, like, it allows you to draw your text, right? It thins the deck, and it allows you to draw the next card, which could be Book, which could be Lance. That's really nice. It's a really nice addition. Like, play this card, guys. This card is good. This card is definitely good. Play it. Because it allows you, as I said, to draw into your text. That's all I have to say. So do I recommend this deck? You'll see the replays and you decide, but to me, my personal opinion, glorified Goki deck. I don't know, it's easy to build, and it has a great future. There's a lot of unreleased cards that will definitely break this deck. So you're definitely gonna invest in the future, and at the moment, it's not a bad deck. It's a fantastic rogue deck. King of Games, probably top 16s, top 32s in tournaments, stuff like that. Maybe even win the tournament entire. Like, people are winning tournaments with this deck, you know, the past couple of tournaments. So it's definitely fantastic. It's definitely great. But not as good as BLS, let's be real. Not as good as Tenyi, let's be real. And Infinite Tracks. yeah, so not as good as Infinite Tracks. So anyway, so you have for the replays. Watch the replays. I hope you enjoy it, and see you next time. Bye bye.